What is going on, everyone, and welcome back to the greatest podcast in the world, shooting the shit uncensored. You know who this is. It's the truth, the dad bod god, the bald, the beard, and the bloody beautiful Piers Austin. And tonight, man, we got a special one for you guys. We got Australia's first ever heavyweight professional boxing champion of the world, baby. Lucas Big Daddy Browne in the house. I'm excited to have Lucas Browne in the house. That's it. Let's hear it. Come on, guys. Live studio audience. We love it. But guys, before we get into that, I need to take a quick pause to tell you about our sponsor, and that is sleefs.com. That's SLEEFS, sleefs.com. Now, listen, if you or someone you know is an athlete, someone is, going to the gym where you're active, you need to get some active wear, some active gear, and Sleefs has it covered. They've got all your athletic gear and wear in one place. They've got armbands, compression pants, headbands, boots, mouth guards, and they've even got those dirty boxes that you know that I'm always rocking. Now, listen, guys, these dirty boxes stay dry, they stay fresh, and they've got funky designs on the front of them that'll keep your missus laughing on what's on the front of your boxes and what's inside them. So, guys, go and check out sleeps.com. Use that promo code MWAPOD to get a 10% discount at your final purchase. Also, wherever you're tuning in, make sure you like, share, subscribe, hit the bell to stay notified. If you're listening on a podcast platform, give us a 5-star review. It helps us bring more amazing conversations to more amazing motherfucking people like yourselves. So get to clicking and tap in, because this is the greatest podcast in the world, baby. And we're about to get into it with Lucas Big Daddy Browne. Yeah! Welcome back to the greatest podcast in the world. This is The Truth, Piers Austin, and I'm joined by one of my favorite people in the entire world, and I know I say that about every guest, but this time I actually mean it. Lucas Big Daddy Browne, welcome to the show, brother.
What's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm hyped to have you on, man. I'm excited that we can make this happen, bro. I really am.
I appreciate it. I must say, I love the hairdo. It's perfect.
Hey, man, you know what? I was just about to compliment you too and say we must have the same barber, bro.
You just got to accept it, move on. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, I started going here and I was like, nah. It's still thick and black, you know what I mean? And then it's like the little patch at the back, and I was just like,
at the back, yes. Yeah.
And I was like, nah. And I was in denial for the longest time. And then I was like, I got shorter and shorter. And then I was just like, fuck it. Haven't looked back since.
I was about 25, 26, and I was watching myself back on the CCTV footage when I was doing security.
Yeah.
Who the fuck is that guy? And that's you. And I'm like, no. Yeah. So I had dark hair anyway, and because it started thinning there, it just looks bad. So I overcame.
Bro, you know what? It's funny because it's like you said you work security, and you know what, bro? Like you and I, bro, actually worked around the same venues around the same time, bro. And I'm certain that you and I did a shift together somewhere along the line, bro. I'm not 100% certain, but I'm sure we worked somewhere along the line, around that early 2000s.
What are some of the venues?
Cargo, Bungalow, what was the one in the King's Cross as well? There was a couple of places in the Cross.
Empire in City.
Yeah, I worked in Empire in 2001.
That was fun. That was fun.
That was, oh, bro. That's back when the cross was like a wild place to be. You know what I mean?
When it was the cross. That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
not like how it
But
is. You know what I mean? Like the lattes and the avocado toast and stuff
my
like that.
first ever shift. My first ever shift was at a very small place down in the cross, and my introduction to it was like, see that guy? And it was an Islander fella walk in. Yes,
Yeah,
he can do whatever he wants. I'm like, the fuck does that mean? He goes, he can do whatever he wants. I went,
yeah.
okay. And it was just one of those. He was the actual security of the cross. You know,
Yeah. No, I met a few of those guys over the years, man. Like I remember going to a venue with like going out for a drink at a certain place, which I won't name, but and I was there with one of the older guys that had been around a while, and he goes, "Hey, see this guy sitting there, and that guy sitting there, blah blah blah," and he goes, "They're the security," and I'm like, "But how come they're not licensed?" I think I saw one of them's drinking a beer, and he's like, no, you don't get it. And he goes, like, I mean, like he's smarting me up too. Because I'm like, oh shit, okay, no worries. Like I see how this game is. You know what I mean?
That's right. That's right. And you got to find out quick, otherwise you find out the hard way.
Oh man, like it's crazy, bro. Like like I tell anyone, it's like if you want to like see what life is all about, you should work like in the nightlife, like whether you're like doing a bartender or like you know what I mean, security or something like that, because the stuff that you see will like change your life, bro. Because I remember we're doing security is like I didn't even want to drink. Like I've never been a big drinker anyway, but it's like, man, really, like is that what I look like when I get messy? Yeah, nah. And that kind of deterred me for a lot of times.
I don't drink myself, and I've never, as I said, I've never been a drinker anyway. But I don't drink. It's like fuck it. It's not in my thing. I've seen too much bullshit going on to even worry about it.
Yeah, man. Well, you know what? Like, I can have a couple of, but the thing is, like, for me, I can have one or two, and like on a Sunday afternoon, like, kicking back after you've done like all the stuff, the housework, the kids are chilling, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like just before dinner, that sort of thing. I can do that. But it's like, I know some people, it's like, man, they start on one or two, and then next thing you know, they're going to drink everything in that house, bro. Like, it's just, as I said, they won't drink every day, but as soon as that shit touches their lips, it's like, bang, it's like over.
Yeah. I don't understand that myself. I'm the same. I can have two and just never drink for fucking months. You know what I mean? And some people, like a couple of exes I've had as well, the moment they drink, it's on. I'm like, yeah.
But I look, man, I think everyone has their vices to a certain extent, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Sometimes that's how people blow off steam, is just like as soon as they go, oh, yep, I'm getting this sort of release, this sort of energy from it. Some people do it from, training and, even fighting to a certain extent. You've got to be, it's going to come to some sort of like addiction to go and keep doing that like on a consistent basis and training and sparring and, the mental preparation as well. You know what I'm saying?
I think mine personally is McDonald's.
Man, mine too, bro. But damn, man, McDonald's, bro, is like, bro. Let me ask you this, bro. Have you ever like you go get your McDonald's order, right? And you've got your shit there, and you check it, and you go, hey, look, there's something wrong, and you tell them, and they look at you like, oh. Like, how dare you fuck? You know what I mean? Like they're looking at you like you're the one that's done something wrong. Like, bitch, what? Like, and you know what I mean? Like, you get that attitude from them or what, bro? I don't know. Maybe it's different because you're a bigger dude and tatted up.
I'm 6'5". Yeah, that's right. People treat me very differently because I'm 6'5", 130, and they're like, okay, and I'll just get it. Even if I haven't missed anything, they'll still get me one.
Well, fair enough, bro.
It does pay to be my size. And obviously tats would help shit, but yeah, it does pay to be my size, man.
That's it, man. But bro, like, listen, man, like you actually have a little bit of an interesting story, bro. Like you actually were an ex-footballer as well.
Yep.
Bit of a singer as well, I've heard down the grapevine.
I can hold a note, my friend, yes.
Yeah. Right. But so mate, like with everything that you've sort of come up with in life, bro, like how did you end up being a professional boxer?
The easiest way to answer that is that I like punching people in the face. dead set the easiest way to you know what I mean? And that, like when it comes down to the nitty gritty of it, that's it. I like violence, and why get locked up and like you punch someone on the street? They're like, oh, why did you do that? Yeah, it's just everyone celebrates it. They cheer for you. They pay for it, and you go on your merry way. So I thought I didn't want to look back at my life and think I could have done that or I could have done that. I just fucking do it. And if you fail, you fail. But at least you've tried.
Yeah.
So I wanted to start. MMA was first, so I wanted to have a belt in MMA, in kickboxing and boxing. I did the MMA. I got a belt. I fought Daniel Cormier for a world title and realised that I'm not exactly a MMA fighter. So I stuck with boxing and like here we are. You know what I mean? So I'm very happy with the way it's all turned out with the boxing, obviously. But it started just me wanting to punch people, so why not?
100%, man. Yeah, you mentioned that Daniel Cormier fight, and I remember watching that fight back, like when it happened, and I think it was on like Fox Sports, and like
Yeah,
I was
I believe
watching, and it was ex MMA, I think the promotion was.
That's right. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and then it was
yeah.
So I watched the show before where I think you won the title, where you won the heavyweight title, and
That's
then you were
right. Yeah.
against DC. And I remember, and
Yeah.
like DC was an unknown, like no one knew,
Yes.
like this wasn't like the world champion that he went on to become, but like, dude, I remember watching that match and like you going into it, man. Like I was going, man, like Lucas is going to knock this guy out, and that fight. Like, that ground game, man, was like Olympic level. You know what I mean? Like that would have been a hard task for anyone.
Yeah. Well, see, back then, you may or may not know the guy. I was supposed to fight his gym mate, and his gym mate was named Mike Kyle. So he was also fighting UFC and stuff at the time, but he was a 6'4" stand-up fighter, and that's who I was supposed to be fighting for that world title. Now, he pulled out like 2 days or 3 days before, and they've just thrown Cormier in. So, from my point of view, it was still a world title. I was still getting paid. Everyone that I knew was buying tickets and all that sort of stuff, so I couldn't pull out. I've gone, fuck it, you know what I mean? So, yes, he's a wrestler, but I didn't know he was that good. But yeah, that was the thing that got me all day long. Like, he just kept putting me on my back. And if I'm on top, I'm all right. But if I'm on my back, I'm like a turtle. So I was a turtle on my back trying to fight my way through it. And it wasn't until he hit me with an elbow across the eyebrow. 13 stitches I got. So it was a nice big thing. And I couldn't see what was going on. And he was just belting away. And the ref called it, thank fuck. Because I wasn't getting any better. And yeah, I'll take it now that he is the man with all his credentials. But back then, I was like, fuck, I just got belted by a guy that I had no idea who he was.
Yeah. Because like I remember seeing him, and then like, because he comes out and he's like 5'11" and just like this stocky dude, and then it's like and it was like looking across and seeing you, and it was just like this killer. I'm like, bro, like this is like I thought this guy was going to be like an out of shape heavyweight, and then it was like, holy shit! Like that was like, soon as that fight, I was like, whoa, that spun me, bro. Like that really spun me.
Well, that for me, that was my like wake up call. If I do want to fight in America, UFC, whatever it may be, but really take MMA further, I'd have to wrestle and kick. And I'm like, I'm too fucking old to try and start this shit. Like they've been doing it since they were kids in school and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So that was also very much for me the turning point to say, listen, I'm just going to box. Fuck this shit, you know what I mean? And well, I didn't even kick. I kicked twice in one fight. So in my 8 MMA fights, I kicked one. I kicked twice.
Yeah,
so
right.
The first one landed on his thigh, and I'm like, fuck, I'm going all right. And the second one, he checked it, and I'm like, yep, we're done. I'm not doing that again.
But you know what? Like, I feel like in early years of UFC, like you would have been like a dominant champ. You know what I mean? But like once it sort of started to get around like the 2000 and like, 10, 9, 10, and you know what I mean? When it started that real evolving after tough one. But I feel like that would have been like an era for you to be like, you would have dominated like a heavyweight division in the UFC back then, I think, Phil.
Back in like the almost the Chuck Liddell style days.
Yeah.
And he was perfect like that. He could wrestle, but his takedown defense was perfect, and he had good striking. You know, so that could have been a version of me back then. Yeah.
Oh, 100%. But man, I had no idea that you didn't you had 2 days to prepare for DC. That's wild.
I know. Unfortunately, it's just changed everything. Like 6'4" stand-up guy to a fucking guy on the ground. I'm like, oh shit, you know. So I'd obviously worked my ground game, but not in anywhere near the manner I should have. But I don't think anything could have prepared me for him anyway, so it didn't really matter.
Oh, for sure, man. And you know, going in and diving more into the boxing and focusing on the boxing game. You know, what became like the main goal for that once you sort of went, you know what, I'm going to focus solely on boxing?
Honestly, I never really had, as I said, I wanted a belt. It was never really, I don't think world title was ever on my mind or in the cards really until later on. I knew I just wanted to legally belt people and maybe get a couple of belts and stuff. That was it. So, yeah, when you think about it, when you first start out, you've still got a full-time job. You're only getting paid. Like my Australian title fight was my 11th fight, and I got paid $3,000.
Yeah,
so like at that point, it wasn't about the money either. You know what I mean? I was still working a full-time job and getting paid $3,000 per fight. And that's an Australian thing, I think. I don't know if you want to touch on all this or not. If I lived in the UK, I'd be driving a Bentley. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
After my world title, when all the bullshit happened, my next fight in Australia was $5,000.
Really?
So former world champion and $5,000. My Django fight, which was what 3-4 fights ago, I got $5,000 for that.
Yeah, wow.
Like Australia's bullshit for money, unless you're someone like a Tim Zoo who's got the name to back it up.
I mean, but you've been doing this for a while as well. Like you've been
13 years all up, yeah.
Yeah. So, but like, do you feel like you could be at that main stage, that you could like deserve that big payday? Do you feel like you could draw, say, 20,000 people?
I think I should have. It was all about someone getting behind me. Again, don't get me wrong about the Zoos and Tim Zoo. I think he's an absolute champion of a boxer now. But because he has that name, they could market it better. I think I was just the big white guy who spoke his mind and probably pissed too many people off at some point. Because I just speak my mind. So I don't think I was as marketable as probably they would want me to be. And that's why I was never sort of got behind as much as I should have.
Yeah, right. So, you know, with, upcoming, there's actually going to be a fight between you and the Balkan, David Padovan.
Yep.
You know, this fight has been brewing up for some time between the two of you guys. So this is actually, like, from what I've been told, it's a little bit of a personal beef between the two of you guys, which we'll get into. But this is going to be, you know, a lot of people thought this fight isn't going to happen, but it is going to happen in Melbourne next year on combatants.com live. Hall of Famer promoter Peter Maniatis and Glenn Aristides from Combatants, along with Hisham Shamrock, have teamed together to promote this, to get behind this. As I said, a lot of other people have said that they don't think that this is going to happen, but like we just said, it is. It's locked in. What do you have to say to those people?
I'm locked in for 2 more fights with my current promoter, who's Lou DiBella from the USA. So I've had 1 with him, which is my last fight in Dubai. I've still got 2 with him. Obviously, the quicker I do it, the more money I make, the more money he makes. So I'm assuming he's onto it. So once that's done, I've said yes to Dave and no problems. I've probably got 2-3 fights left in my career, so I'd want to make that one of the last ones. And yeah, things, as I said, I've got a very big mouth. I say what's on my mind at the time. Sometimes it ruffles people's feathers. And I did ruffle Dave's there a little bit, but it is what it is. So I don't mind fighting someone in Australia as long as I get paid for it. Again, those $5,000 fights aren't fucking worth anyone fighting, basically. So as long as I get paid for it, I'll fight anyone. And I do believe that all the money's coming through with that, and I do believe it'll actually be a good fight.
Yeah. And, you know, you are Australia's only heavyweight boxing champion. You know, Dave, you know, doesn't have, you know, he's had one fight as people have sort of informed me. But he has had a pretty solid, you know, amateur career as well. He is now up at your level, ready to go. You know, a lot of other Aussie heavyweights have refused to fight him. What I've been told as well in the past, you've also refused to fight David.
Well, at that stage, I couldn't regardless. Yeah, I couldn't regardless anyway. But yeah, it didn't make sense for where I was in my career. Obviously, you gotta do what's better for you in your career and stuff. But considering I'm on the end of it now, then why the hell not?
Yeah. Fair enough. So
it wouldn't make sense for me to try. Yeah, if I'm trying to chase someone like a Parker, and then I fight someone who's had no fights or one or no, it did make sense, you know. So hopefully the next one is Parker. So we're in negotiations at the moment. We're just waiting for the sign on the dotted line. He's myself and him are going to be fighting on the Tyson Fury card against Ngannou. Over in Saudi, so that's great news. But I'm not speaking it to the world yet because I don't know if it's going to come through. Like anything boxing, you can never really back on anything. So I'm waiting until I get it signed first, then I'll shout it to the hills. But that's hopefully my next one in October against Joseph Parker in Saudi Arabia.
Yeah. You spoke about Boxer Pay a couple of times there, and one of the things I wanted to ask, what do you think it is? Why do you think it is that the boxers aren't getting paid what they deserve? Is it that the crowds aren't there, the promotions aren't drawing enough, they're not getting enough buy rates? Where does it come into from, like, where can Australian boxing get to the level where they can pay their fighters better and it can get to the level of the UK?
To be honest, I don't exactly know. Obviously, people have to get behind it. But if you look at, for example, the difference between UK and Australia as an example. So UK, like soccer players, the footy players, they're getting paid millions and millions and millions of dollars. Where our NRL boys are getting paid something in the hundreds of thousands. Like, there is a very big discrepancy there. Same with the boxing, same with anything it may be. So I don't know if it's promoters or just the people that get behind it. I'm not sure, but like, I've got more fans in the UK than I do in Australia, which is they just like their sports and their boxing more. They get behind it more. First time I stepped into the UK was walking down the street and someone yelled out, "Big Daddy!" And I'm like, wow, they know me over here. You know, like, it's just different. That was the first time I ever stepped in the UK, and I was about 12-0 at the time. Yeah, so I was blown away, you know what I mean? So they knew who I was straight off the bat. Then I started fighting there and winning there, and it just went through the roof. So if I actually chose to stay there and box there, I'd be driving a Bentley for sure. It's just, I don't know what it is exactly. It has to do with promoters, of course, but I think it's definitely the people who have to get behind it more,
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, like, with like everything that we see in combat sports, like how like MMA's kind of evolved and UFC's become this big thing. And I actually had, like, I've had a conversation with a friend of mine who's a big, you know, combat sports fan, and he said, he's like, oh, MMA's taken over, you know, over boxing. Boxing is a dying sport. And I go, mate, do you know the difference is in America, the MMA fighters get paid maybe, I don't know, like 10, 15 grand a fight, You know what I mean? Like, unless like you're at the high level where then maybe you're getting like 200-300 grand a fight.
That's
Whereas
right.
like the top level boxers are getting about 200-300 million a fight.
Million, yeah,
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah,
there's a
yeah.
huge difference. Boxing is
Yeah.
doing very, very well.
Still, yes, that's right. And you look back, even like with the Klitschko's and all the rest of us, even though they're putting on their own promotion, they're still making millions of dollars. You know what I mean? So you can't say there isn't money there to be had. It's just you got to be able to market it properly and get the bums on seats, stuff like that. Like my fight against Gallen, I got paid 140 grand, which is for me that was a massive thing, especially in Australia. That was huge.
Yeah,
He
for
got
sure.
1.2 mil. Yeah. So the non-boxer against the heavyweight champion, he got $1.2 million.
That's wild.
So
That is wild.
I can't knock anyone for making dollars. So I'm not angry at him
No,
at
no,
all.
no, no.
It shows you how bums on seats makes everything. You know,
But
so you look at your Jake Pauls and all those sort of people that just talk shit, but they fucking get paid for it. You know what I mean? I'm just not one of those people that talk shit.
yeah, but that's the thing. Is that like I feel like the people that do like the shit talk and stuff like that, people either they buy the tickets because they feel like they're entertaining, or they buy the tickets because they want to see the person get
What
the
a big
shit
good
kicked.
brothers,
You know, like
yeah.
how many people do you reckon were like cacking themselves when Conor McGregor like got choked out? You know
Yeah,
what
that's right.
I mean?
Yeah.
like for
But
that first time,
even,
it's like, or even like
yeah,
you know, Mike Tyson when he first got beat. Like how many people would have been loving that? You know what I mean? Like there's always these haters. You know, like
but you got McGregor who fought Mayweather, and that's all that was. I now label that a circus. They've
yeah,
created a circus, and that's fine. But like he got 100 million for that. Like
that's
what the fuck?
wild.
For
But you know
talking
what?
his
Like
mouth.
But you know what? Like that's what I feel like it is. It's like drawing people in. It's like when you
Yeah.
see fighters, and you know, I've had someone say to me, "Oh, fighters always seem so arrogant and stuff like that." I go, "What do you mean?" They go, "Oh, well, they go, I'm going to beat this person. Oh, no one can beat me." Blah blah. I go, what the fuck do you expect them to turn around and say, go, well, there's a 50% chance I'm going to get the shit kicked out of me tonight, bud. Yeah. Hey, Lucas,
That's right.
man, yeah, you might get belted in this one.
Not sure.
You're not going to, you know what I mean? You're not going to have that mindset, and you're not going to have people around you with that fucking mindset. But even
That's right.
then, even if you did have that self-doubt, you're not putting it out there to the public like that
No,
either.
that's
You know
right.
what I mean? Like,
I think at a point every like fighter has to be somewhat of a narcissist anyway. You know what I mean? So it's just the narcissistic tendencies have to come out because you got to be too sure of yourself.
yeah, 100%. Like it's it's like the Muhammad Ali, man. He was one of the greatest of all time, bro. And he was probably the first biggest shit talker in the world of boxing. You know, so it's
But see, you got to have it. I could try and talk shit, but it'll just come out sounding like I'm putting it on because I am. Like at least those people can. Tyson Fury, he talks some shit, but at least he can also back it up. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
hundred
That's the
percent.
best part about it. Muhammad Ali could back it up.
Mm. I like one of the funniest things I've ever seen like in boxing was I think this guy who was like like a strawweight fighter, and he came out dancing to the ring, and like he had his whole thing. He went in there, got knocked out in the first minute, and like they get him back up. His music starts playing. He starts dancing, dancing to the back. So
As long as he's happy, you know what I
hey,
mean?
you say boxing's a circus, man, but like it's like I feel like it's now in the world of entertainment as well, where like that's what
yeah,
needs, like that's what draws the people into it, is the colorful
yeah,
characters, you know.
yeah. But see, back in the day as well, your Ali days and stuff like that, they all fought each other.
Mm,
And whoever was the best fought each other no matter what. Now everyone's sort of ducking and weaving to keep the zero, you know what
mm.
I mean? At least back then, everyone just fought each other. And if you're the best, you fought. That's the way it was.
Is there anyone in your career that you felt has been ducking you since the start of your career?
Not really. I think I think it's a very general rule for me because I know for a fact I can, and this is just through the power of my hand and everything else, I can knock anyone out. And I think the fact that I've got a heavy punch has obviously put me to the level I have and with the knockouts, but it's also been to my detriment because people will avoid me. So people say, what if you fight this guy? I was like, he'll never fight me because if he wins, no one really cares. If he loses, everyone will care because he's lost to me. So it's been very much a detrimental thing for me, but having my power because I do get avoided by a lot of like high class people because why the fuck would they want to get knocked out by me? You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. And I feel like, do you feel like that sort of even sort of held you down when you're trying to break through to that next level?
Very much so. Very much so. Yeah. It is unfortunate, but it's a fact of life. Like I think most people would come into a fight with me, even a Parker, for example. They'd come into the fight knowing that they're going to beat me for every round. But if I land that one punch, it's over. You know what I mean? So I can lose 11 rounds and still knock you out in the 12th and win the fight. So I think that's always going to be on their mind as well. Like a Tyson Fury will never fight me because of that factor. If he lost, he'd be no one, you know. But if he won, oh well, you're supposed to win. Yeah, so that's unfortunately that's always going to be against me. Always has been.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because it's like, how many good boxers do we see?
Yeah.
Even like, I mean, like in your case, like you're a former world champion, but like some guys probably don't even get to that level. You know what I mean?
Exactly right. It's unfortunate, but that's life, man. Yeah. Yeah.
It's sad, man. But dude, I wanted to ask you your world title fight. So you had a world title fight in Russia. You won in the
Yep.
10th round, I believe it was, by a knockout.
Yep.
That fight, like afterwards, man, they came back, and this is one thing I remember reading this when it happened, and I was just like, huh? And it was like
Yeah.
they popped you for clenbuterol,
Computerol, yeah.
and I'm like, clenbuterol for a heavyweight, and I'm like,
That's right.
and I'm going like, because like at the time I was training and I was around and stuff like that, so I knew what
Yeah.
it was, but I'm
Yeah.
like, a heavyweight boxer on clenbuterol, and I'm like, what? And like, it didn't make sense to me, bro. Like, and I saw that you denied it as well.
Yeah.
Did they like? Was there another test done? Like, was it to prove that it
Well,
wasn't? Like, what was the go?
to start with, I knew I was going to Russia. So it's Chechnya, but same shit. I was going to Russia. And at that time, all the Olympic stuff was going on with Russia and everything else. So I personally paid for the testing. So, number one, why the fuck would I take something knowing I'm going to be tested? Because I paid for it. Number two, in Russia or in Chechnya, 3 days before the fight, I was actually tested and was clear. So then again, why would I take clenbuterol 3 days out from a fight that's going to do fuck all for me but give me the shakes and make me fucking my heart pump harder?
Yeah, and give
So
me more
if I've
anxiety at
done all
that
the
stage.
weight cut, yeah, well, I've done all the weight cut. I've done everything properly. Why would I then take clenbuterol into fucking Russia and take it when I know I'm going to be tested because I paid for it? So
Mm.
none of it made sense, let alone fucking that. But I did a hair follicle sample test, so from my underarm, just in case you're wondering. And there was nothing in my system for over 6 months prior to the thing. So it just showed that I was on nothing. So
Yeah,
that's when they gave me the title back and said, here you go. But all the fucking damage has already been done. Everyone still called me a drug cheat, no matter what. And as I said, my next fight was in Australia for $5,000.
that's insane.
So
That's
that well and truly fucked my boxing career, but basically my life up. Like I'm not saying I'm a millionaire, but I could be a lot better, lot more well off than what I am now.
yeah. That's tragic, man. It's
Yeah.
the fact that and that was proven. They returned the belt to you and all that sort of
Yeah, I
stuff.
got the belt at home. Yeah,
Yeah,
yep.
I
See,
mean,
the problem with that was my next fight, and there was actual talks in place. My next fight was Klitschko.
mm,
So I would have got 2 or 3 mil for that. So there's my house, my this, my that,
100%.
and then 5 grand was the next fight instead.
Like, man, that's just insane that the jump can go from that to that. Like,
Yeah.
it's wild. It's wild.
But not only that, obviously that's the obvious, the money factor. But I've gone from I didn't get a parade or anything. Like Jeff Horn got a fucking parade, all that sort of stuff because he fought Pacquiao. No one knew who Jeff Horn was before he fought fucking Pacquiao. But he fought Pacquiao, who everyone knew, so he's the man. And again, rightly so, 100% he should have got celebrated. But I got fuck all. I got zero. And then when that happened, I had 3 news outlets at Sydney Airport when I got there. 3.
Yeah,
When the drug shit happened, I had 15 that wanted me to say something. And that just shows you what they follow. They don't follow the good stuff. They follow the shit. So
100%.
I got 15 people wanting to question me and ask me questions about a drugs thing that didn't fucking happen. But when I arrived back, yes, all triumphant, I had 3 people saying hello. That was it. So I'm just dirty on boxing in general, and there's so many things about it.
Sure.
But
No,
it's more people.
yeah, like I definitely get it, but it almost sounds like there's certain things that are like, but how did they get did they get clenbuterol in your system somehow, or was it something along the lines of,
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I believe.
How like if you're in control of the testing, how could it come up? Like,
I believe it was the night before we had the big fancy because it was a Muslim country. We had 2 weigh-ins, so we had one in the hotel in the morning, and we had the fake one in the night time that all the TV and stuff went to,
sure,
and all of the fighters got steak. No one else got steak. All the fighters did. So I'm under the assumption, and that's the only thing I can think of, is that it was in the steak. Other than that, I wouldn't have a fucking clue.
yeah, right. That's wild. That's
Yeah.
crazy. It's, I mean, do you feel like you were set up somehow, or like,
Without a doubt. Because something like that had already happened as well with another fighter, like his opponent. And it was something like some sort of fucking breast cancer or breast something that was in the system. It was still legal, but it had nothing to do with anything. Yeah.
yeah, all right, fuck, man, that's nuts.
Yeah.
That is just absolutely like, like after, like, how did you like? But how long did it take after that to prove your innocence and to get your world title back?
About 8 months.
Yeah.
I think it took for me to get my title back. Took about a year and a half.
Mm.
Yeah, as I
And they
said, all
still,
the damage is done. So all I was to everyone, no matter what results came back, and when they said no, you cleared, and still to this day, oh, you're a fucking drug cheat. Like that's all I get. I'm like, you serious?
shoot.
So,
But did they
some
still
people, sorry.
did they still recognize you as the heavyweight champion
Yeah.
throughout that whole time until they've proven yes? Like, what
Oh
was the,
no. The moment they stripped me, that was it. Yeah.
so they crown a new champion in the interim of that time, or?
Well, this is where the shit gets really funny, right?
Hmm.
And this bit is my fault, and I'll take full credit for this. But when they finally did all that stuff, they said, all right, we'll put you and Cannon Briggs on for the same title. So it was vacant, and
Yeah.
we'll both fight for a vacant title. So I was living in Perth. I went to Sydney to the time to train at a Rodney Williams thing at Blacktown PCYC. And my dumbass went to a sup shop and said, "Give me the best one you got." So I got done for the pre-workout.
Oh,
So I was in Blacktown. They come and test me. I'm like, yeah, 100% tested, and it was some American brand that had something in it, and I got done for a fucking pre-workout. So I was 2 times drug cheat and I hadn't cheated. You know? Yeah, I know. It gets worse. Hey, so I didn't fight for the title ever again. Yeah.
that's insane, dude. That's such a that's shattering. Like, but what was it in this fucking pre-workout? Like, was it like a
I don't know, to be honest. Yeah, yeah. But like here I am, and that was my fault. I can't. I'll have to take full credit for that one. That's just my dumb ass going to the fucking shop and saying, "Give me the best one you got." So they did. So unfortunately, that's all on me, man. I can't take anything out of that.
oh, dude. And like, do you feel like that could have been like the turning point for you to like if you'd gone and like steamrolled through that fight, won that, you feel like that could have put you back on top of the map?
Back on top, exactly right. Yeah, yeah. So, that was all me. That was all me.
But like, following that, like, when was what happened next? Like, where did the next sort of fight bring you, from there?
That was the 5 grand fight. So I went to Queensland, fought on a Jamie Myers show, fought Julius Long, and fought him for 5 grand.
Yeah, right.
7'1", 145 kilos.
7'1"?
Dude, he's a big boy, man. Yeah, big black American, but he fights out of New Zealand.
Yeah, geez, man, that's a big dude, bro.
He's a massive man. Yes,
That's fucking dude. But like, even you mentioned you fought Paul Gallen, but before you did that, you fought John Hopewadi as well.
Yep.
You beat him as well. How was the fight with Hopper?
Good. Again, unfortunately, he wasn't supposed to be the one I was going to fight. I was going to fight someone else, and he pulled out. So they put Hopper in instead. I went, all right, I'll fight him, no problem. So, but my payday went from like, it was supposed to be, I don't know, 70 or 80 grand to 10, 15, you know what I mean? And I get that. The guy pulled out, fine, but that's a lot of money to now not get. And they said, yeah, take it easy on him. So I said, all right. So I did. I was taking it easy on him. And he fucking come out swinging for the fences. So I'm on the ropes going, Jesus Christ, like taking a lot of shots. So I was fucking, boom, see you later, good night. So I wasn't going to take it easy on him, but fuck that, yeah.
But it's like, you went from getting 70 to 80 grand to a fight to then fighting John Hopewadi, and then like, because I thought John Hopewadi, his name value, like you would still be able to get like that same. Really?
No. It was a small little show at St. Mary's Leys Club, so nah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, fair enough, man. But
Aussie boxing, my friend.
Dude, did I see like something a while back? Like, and I want to get into the Gallen fight as well, but did I see something a while back that was like something called tag team boxing or something at one stage?
Yeah.
And like, do I remember? Were you a part of that? Were you a part of that, or am I imagining?
Yeah. I was in it. That was crazy. That was back when I probably was just starting boxing. And at that stage, I was living. I was training out of what was it called? I forgot the name of it because it changed. It was Penrith. All the big boys out of Penrith. And they're all the big Islander fellas and all the rest of it. The Tahunas were the ones running it at the stage. So Jamie Tahuna fought the UFC. Yep. His brother Tama. EFG, Elite Fight Gym, EFG. And that was awesome. They said, "You want to do it?" And I said, "Yeah, why not?" So the other guy that was on my team was also a bald white fella, and his name was Browne with an E on the end as well. So everyone thought we were brothers. So the two white guys fought two Islander fellas from Parramatta. So they made it out of this big racial thing. I'm like, I'm not related to this guy.
Oh, dude.
But it was crazy. It was great because he basically went over and you touched your man and he swapped and went in. But basically, what would happen? The rules. If my guy was going to get knocked out or stopped, I had to fight both. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So luckily, it went the time instead of going like so one of us get knocked out. But it came close, man.
Yeah, but had you trained specifically for this, like with this dude, getting ready for this fight?
Like, there's only so like we train individually. There's only so much you can really do. Like, we're basically still having a fight on our own, but with someone else.
Yeah. It's a interesting concept though.
Dude, it worked really well. The crowd loved it. It was the best.
I remember seeing like it was like a mixed martial arts fight in Russia, and it was like a team of like 5-on-5 or something like that, and then one team is just like obliterated everyone, and they've got like 5 guys just like kicking the shit out of this guy on the ground. I'm like, only in Russia, baby. Like, they're fucking nuts.
I'd love to do something like that. It'd be so good.
Oh man, that's like full WWE style, but like
basically, yeah, Royal Rumble, yeah, exactly.
Far out, man. There's nowhere. I don't think there's any place in Australia that would actually sanction that though.
Oh hell no! Well, you think about it, it wasn't that long ago that Melbourne said they weren't going to have UFC.
True.
You know what I mean? Now look at it, you know, of course. But like that, how many? 5 years ago, maybe was it, or a bit longer?
Yeah, well, I think it was just over 5 years ago. But do you feel like even with that, like, you know, combat sports, right? Like we got Alex Volkanovski, who is from Wollongong, and there's like there was a big thing how like they weren't gonna like recognize him as like a hometown Wollongong hero, but he's the fucking like pound for pound greatest fighter in MMA at the moment. Like, do you find that in combat sports that is still that sort of like a bit of a stigma when it comes to like combat sports, where like the celebrity status here in Australia doesn't really, you know what I mean? Like, do you feel like people outside of combat sports just go, yeah, man, that's just like you guys beat the fuck out of each other. Let's just try and hide that a bit.
I think that again, that comes down to media and how it's portrayed. I think very much like because Volkanovski is like with the UFC, it's a big credible thing, and obviously worldwide. Sure. People sort of recognize that more than just saying, "Oh, he's a world champion boxer." Like UFC has 1 belt as well, where boxing has 4. Or they've got shitload, but the 4 main ones, you know. So people often get confused at which belt and why and how, and well, at least UFC's got 1 belt, so you can say he is the champ of that weight class because there is only 1 belt. But it really comes down to marketing and how the media portray you. And I don't think the media has portrayed me as the best or such a nice guy. I'm the fucking nicest fella you ever meet. But put me in a ring, it's a different story, you know. Sure. I've always been portrayed as like the bad guy, which is okay, but as long as I get paid for it, you know. So I do think Volkanovski's been portrayed in the media very well, and I think they've done a great job with it. And again, good luck to him. I wish the guy the best. But
do you think like combat sports as a whole, like boxing, kickboxing, MMA, like athletes in that aren't recognized the same as like an NRL player or a soccer player? You know what I mean?
Well and truly, 100%, and kickboxing, you don't hear of any of them. You know, you've never, unless you're into it, you don't really hear about your Peter Grahams and all that sort of stuff. You know what I mean? Like there's some really good Ray Sefus and obviously Mark Hunt back in the day. But like, it wasn't until he made UFC that it really sort of became huge. And again, it's just media, man. Media's like got their own thing for the NRL or the AFL. So I think it's how you portray it. At the same time, I think UFC did the best thing though when they did the Ultimate Fighter, because it sort of humanized who they were. So it took them from being just the brutal fighters to you can actually see what they're like in a normal situation, or how crazy or stupid they were, but just normal people who are generally fighting for their family and just want to make a better life for themselves and their family. So I think that helped a lot, but it's got a long way to go. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that you're exactly right. Like, I think as soon as you can humanize someone in the fight game as well, and I think that's probably like the biggest misconception as well that people have with like fighters and combat sports athletes. Whereas, like in reality, like I'm around a lot of them. You know what I mean? Consistently, I commentate on a lot of shows, and and a lot of these people, these athletes, come from different walks of life. But one thing that they're always consistent, they're always humble, and they're always respectful. And they're just like, oh, thank you very much for the kind word, or whatever it may be. And it's just like the respect that people have from fighters, whether there's like the young guys coming up or the veterans at the top of the card, they're always respectful. And that's something that that you always see. And I feel like that's even at training gyms and stuff like that, when I've trained, it's like, it's always the same thing. Once they get to that high level, even the professionals, the higher you get, the nicer you become. I feel like, because it's like you appreciate stuff, but like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like most fighters aren't dicks. You know what I mean? Like, you find one or two here and there, but for the most part, that people are just good, genuine human beings.
I think a lot of it is ego driven.
Yeah.
So when you first start, you sort of have to prove shit to everyone, and when you become whatever you become. Like, I haven't had a fight on the street since I started training boxing. And if someone was ha-ha at me and like swearing at me, I was like, you got no idea. And just walk off, because I got nothing to prove.
Yeah.
I don't have to prove anything. My ego is just gone out of the situation. I think to myself, this would literally is not worth me going to court and spending 10 grand getting off it because you're an idiot. You know what I mean? So I don't have to prove anything to anyone, and I can walk off knowing who the fuck I am. So 100%. I think everyone gets to that point where they're just like, it's just not worth it, you know?
Yeah, because you look at it like, going, man, like, I could fucking knock the shit out of you, but at the end of the day, you know what I mean? What's it going to do? It's going to cost me 10 grand.
That's right.
Which going to cost me 20 grand.
I'll slap shit out of you.
Dude, but like, have you found that, like, over your time as being a professional boxer, being in that limelight, have you found that like there has been people that try and come out of the woodworks and try and fucking test you in public?
At this point, no, which is great, because often I wish for it. But no, like, I've had so much.
Brother.
Fuck.
Fucking alpha
I've
shit.
had so many people. Yeah, so many people over the years have just like, social media obviously gives people a more of a voice, and they think their opinion counts. And the abuse that I copped over the years from, number one, obviously the world title, but any losses, I get abused for months. And I'm telling you, every day without fail, abuse, like message. Not one person would ever, and has never, said it to my face. You know what I mean? That I've come to the conclusion that people are just cunts. That's my. It really is. The people are cunts.
It is, man. Like, because you know what? Like, the thing is, people can hide behind a keyboard, bro, but it's like the face-to-face confrontation, bro. I fucking thrive on that shit, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if someone has a beef with me and they pull me up on a face-to-face, I fucking I love that shit. Because, and you know what? Like, and like, I've done it before, bro. Like, I hear some shit and I'm like, really, motherfucker? And like, I'll be the first person to mouth up, bro. Like, especially if I think someone's done something dirty or whatever, I'm like, oh, you really? Like, you know, like,
you at least got to respect it. You at least got to respect the guy's balls for saying it.
Yeah, man. I respect people that can do that, man, because it's like in this day and age, it's so easy not to.
That's right. That's right. And I'm talking from all around the world too. It's not just Australians. Like, again, the UK, I've got more fans in the UK than I do Australia. But fuck, there's some haters out there. And I got slaughtered. And like the Dillian White fight. So yes, I got knocked out. But again, if I have an opinion on anything, so if I say Tyson Fury, this, I'll get messages sent with me lying flat on the ground going, "You got no fucking idea." And I can't even have an opinion on boxing anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I hate that. I just hate that about it's people.
I feel like that's when you're in it and stuff like that. It's like it looks at like as soon as you say like a comment about something, automatically, oh, you're a hater.
100%.
You know what I mean?
100%.
But the thing is like the people that are calling you haters, they're the ones behind like burner accounts with fucking 2
That's
followers.
right.
You know what I mean?
I can't understand how you would make so many accounts. Like I've had one guy that made a Lucas Big Daddy Brown, and then a Lucas Big Daddy Pink, Lucas Big Daddy Green, and it went through like 10 or 15 different fucking colours. I'm like, how many fucking email addresses have you got? You know what I mean? So
How much
people are weird,
time
man.
did you have to do that?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Why the fuck would you bother? Seriously.
Like that's just so much. That's a lot of energy that like I don't know. I'd rather just go, you're a dick. And then just see where it goes from there. I'd rather just call someone a dick and just like, I don't know, we'll see how it pans out from that one, I suppose. Like
When I first, like, not started, but back when I started getting, I don't know, more, I won't say famous, but you know what I mean? When I got getting bigger, I was fucking having to go back at people. And I would then get sent the emoji of like someone fishing. I'm like, you fuckers, seriously. You literally got on here, said something waiting for me to answer. And when I answered, you went, oh, we're fishing. I'm like, you fucks. So now my block list is longer than my fucking friends list. I just block people and keep going.
Dude, like that block list is so easy to do as well, though, man. And it's like it's yeah, I see interesting stuff, bro. Like anytime I drop like a controversial podcast with someone or someone who is controversial comes on the podcast, man, I get like messages from people going, this person's blah, 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 and you're a blah. And like before I used to get really upset about it and I'd respond and be like, oh, now I just, yeah, someone's getting a little bit, it's a podcast, man. You're getting upset from someone saying someone's opinion. Cool. Like whatever. Like at the end of the day, if you don't care, then why are you upset?
A lot of the times, like Facebook and Instagram have different things and like memes and stuff. So I'll share shit on Facebook because it's there, and or Instagram because it's there. So sometimes they might marry up, but they're obviously very different sometimes. But like I shit stir people with something chronic, and if someone comes back at me with hate and abuse, I know that they're not my people. So block, see ya. So I push it up sometimes to stir people up to see who are my people or not. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. 100%. Just sort of riling them up. But that's the thing, man. Like when the people that were getting you, they're like sitting there with the fishing emojis going like, man, we're just reeling you in, bro. Like, but like, did you feel like you would just get to the point there where it was like you just had to respond to everything that you had like being thrown at you or?
I really wanted to, yes. And I think I'm very active. Like so if someone comments, I like it. Like I actually read and I like it, everything. I read and like everything. So I think people knew that. So they knew that I would actually read it. But I'm just that way. Every message that comes through, obviously, if it's abusive, I don't. But every message that comes through, I either like and or comment back and thank you. And I'm very active on social media. I think a lot of people, like an Anthony Joshua, they don't even run their own social media. So, like, you're not talking to the person where people go, "Oh my God, I'm actually talking to Lucas Browne." I'm like, "Yeah, well, cool. Who's he talking to?" So I have these genuine conversations with people who are just fucking over the moon that I'm actually talking to them. And I
Yeah.
love that. I love that I'm able to touch someone in the most minimal way, but like just by me saying, "Hi, how you doing?" Or they ask me about boxing, obviously, but they ask me about fitness. I've got people ask me about fucking relationship advice. I've got all sorts of crap. You know what I mean? And I'm like fucking Dr. Phil half the time. It's great.
Really? So people
Yeah.
obviously like they just attract you in that sense where it's like they want to open up to you and tell it like get your advice and stuff, man. That's dope.
You have no idea how easy it is for people to open up to me. I get told all sorts of shit real quick. Yeah, yeah. But
Really?
I like that. I like the fact that people actually would take the time out to say, "Listen, I'm not going to fucking ask you a question." You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
What like
If
what's the
people stop asking questions, then I'd be worried.
all right, what's like the weirdest fan interaction you've had?
I still to this day, and there's a couple of men who are obviously very much on the gay end of the spectrum, and they love me to death. And I don't mind that. They're fans, that's mad. But like when it gets too sexual, I'm like, pull your fucking head in or you're getting blocked. And they're like, "Oh yeah, sorry, you know. But like I get people that literally any single thing that I post of me, not nothing from the classes and stuff, but if I post a picture of myself, "Oh my God, you're so gorgeous," and like, I don't care, man. You're a fan, so thank you very much. But I get
Yeah.
some weird shit from fellas, man. Fellas have got no shame at all.
Yeah, no doubt, bro. Like you can see how like some like female celebrities get like some ridiculous requests in their DMs and stuff. I'm like it
Yeah.
you can just imagine what it's like on that end of the world, man.
I had a moment where my ex girlfriend at the time. Now I was just putting up a post of me and her, and
Yeah.
wifey appreciation and thank you very much, rah rah. Now, half an hour, 40 minutes later, she messaged me and goes, "Can you take the post down, please?" I'm like, "Why?" She goes, "I've already received 3 dick pics." I'm like, "You're fucking kidding me, right?" So the men have deliberately sent her dick pics because she's in a picture. Like, are you serious? So I
That's
can never put pictures
fucking
up.
wild. That's
Men are
wild.
fucked, man. Yeah, men are fucked. So I can't post. I couldn't post pictures of me and her because she get dick pics.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like you just either you don't post photos of your misses or you get an ugly misses. Like it's
Well, that's never going to happen, my friend.
oh mate, Big Daddy doesn't play.
Come on, come on.
No, man, but
I've
for
done
real,
very
man,
well with my missus. I've done very well. Thank you very much.
yeah. How long you been with your woman for, man?
I'm single at the moment.
Oh, single at the
Uh,
moment. Yeah.
I was with her for 12 years. So
Oh,
I've gone from 3 long-term relationships back to back since I was 16.
wow,
Yeah.
wow.
So
So now you just
13
like
years, 4 years, and 12 years. Yeah.
wow. Now Big Daddy's on the prowl, single again.
Hard. Or not again, never. I've never been
Yeah,
single,
like
technically. You know
the
what I mean?
first time, yeah.
First time, yeah. I got to see what the fuck this is all about. Yeah.
The world ain't ready for that, I don't think, bro.
I don't- I'm not saying a word.
Hey man, as a perfect heavyweight, Lucas will peak a bit later on in his career.
Thank you. Ah,
Oh,
but the good thing about it now, like, my kids are now 19, 21, 25. So, like, they're past all that shit.
wow.
So, it's now my time. It's definitely my time. So, I'm 44. I'm single. My kids are older. I've got my own gym. I'm fucking loving life, man. It's good.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. Hey, and what about
Yeah.
your kids? Are your kids into the fight game at all? Any potential Browns on the horizon stepping through the ropes?
Well, the daughter's my daughter's the oldest. Now she is sporty, but isn't into all that sport stuff. But like she's playing rugby this year. She wanted something different, so she's playing
Oh wow.
rugby. and they're in the grand final next week. So that's very good.
Hey,
First season ever played, and they're in the grand final.
congratulations. Congrats.
My 21-year-old is a fucking doppelganger of me and an absolute fucking machine. So their mum's Filipino. So I'm 6'5". Their mum's 5'4", Filipino.
Yeah.
Luckily, both my boys are both 6'4", so they're both big boys.
Yeah, yeah.
He's 117 and a fucking machine, and like big, strong, but agile and can run. So like he's good. He's playing premiers for the rugby union over here, and
Yeah.
getting looked at by the they got 4 tiers, but like the Western Force. So like,
Oh,
yeah. So he's doing very well. My youngest, lazy little motherfucker, is 19, 6'4", 130, does fuck all.
no,
He's
not
got
into fitness.
He's an absolute beast. And I'm like, if you trained, some cardio, did some weights, you'd be an absolute machine, but doesn't want to borrow it. I'm like, all right, no worries, man.
Just
So,
not into it at all.
anything, don't know about boxing, anything. So he plays some recreational basketball with his mates, and that's it. I'm like, that's good on you, mate. You know, but my I
Good
know
on
it
you,
sounds
mate.
bad, but like coming from
No,
me,
no,
like
no.
you come home and you went outside. Now everyone's playing fucking games. You're with
Yeah,
all your
man.
mates playing games. I'm like, yeah, all right, man.
That's
But
100%. When we were kids growing up, bro, like I'm 41, and like
yeah,
we didn't have mobile phones or any of that shit. We would hop on our bike, we'd call our friend's home phone. Oh, he's not there. All right, you drive
yeah,
to our other mate's house. He's not there. You go to the other spot. Ah, there they are. You
right,
hang out or whatever.
yeah,
And
yeah.
then it's like you come home when you know you got to go home. You hop on your bike, you ride home.
No, when the lights came on,
Yeah, when the street lights
when the
came on.
street lights come on, fuck, I gotta go home.
Yeah, yeah. Dinner's on the table.
That's it. And
Land
and
roast.
and you'd be able to ride for 3-4 hours, no problems.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy, man. But now it's like
So
kids just want to like, but it's even like the sense of like iPads and stuff like that with technology.
yeah,
And it's like I've
yeah,
said before, like my kids are 7, 5, and 2. And now the
yeah,
two older ones, if they get like time in front of that iPad for more than like I don't know, an hour at a time
yeah,
afterwards, oh man, they're assholes. Like they're straight
yeah,
like they're like my 5-year-old little girl. I love her so much, but sometimes I just look at her and go, "You fucking."
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? But like, and that usually happens after they have too much of that screen time because it just overstimulates the fuck out of them, man. Like, it makes them psychotic.
There's nothing wrong with a bit of slap, bro. Slap. Give
Oh
them the Stay
man,
Kush.
nah, man. But like, man, it gets close, bro. It gets close.
Yeah,
Some of the stupid shit, bro. But that's the thing, as parents, man, you gotta try and teach that shit. But that technology stuff, bro, too much of it,
yeah.
man, fries the brain.
It's a different world, man. It really is a different world. Yeah. So I think my 21-year-old would want to do some boxing later, but I said, yeah, by all means, concentrate on your rugby first, and then like if you want to do it after rugby, you can be like Paul Gallen and be like the rugby players come into boxing. You know what I mean? Let's do it that way around. He goes, all right, sweet.
100%, man.
Probably make more money. You know what I mean?
Oh, exactly, man. The way that Paul Gallen did it, but like that's one thing I wanted to ask you about is that Paul Gallen fight. So,
Yep.
when you took that fight with Gallen,
Yep.
what was your thought going into that fight? Did you think that this was going to be an easy fight for you?
Fucking oath. Fucking oath. Now, there's two ways to look at it. He's a good fighter. He's not a good boxer. That doesn't mean he can't fight, obviously. You know what I mean? So he's
Yeah.
not Mr. Technical boxer with, oh my God, beautiful jab and beautiful this. But the fucker can fight. He's a great fighter. I went into it knowing that I'm the better boxer and
Mm.
I was going to outbox him. And then if I landed, I landed. Now, I'm dirty about that fight because I got hit just behind the ear in the back of the head 5 times Ref didn't call a thing. During one of those 5 times, it popped my eardrum. So I've gone from fighting like this to fighting cross-eyed, having no fucking idea what was going on.
Oh,
So
shit.
the worst part is I didn't get chinned and knocked out. So I just looked like shit because I was basically cross-eyed. I had no equilibrium in any way. And you could tell, I've got photos and obviously some footage, but you can tell he was taught that's what he had to do. Now, being a short guy, he was going to have to punch up, fair enough. But if I throw an overhand, it looks like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or I've got a picture of his hand. It's like that, straight in the air, because he's coming down on the back of my head with his glove. Like, he's been taught that. Now, again, it's not his fault. It's the ref's fault. Why the fuck did the ref pull that up?
Yeah,
But
100%.
again, I can be dirty all day, but it is what it is. I'm now the guy that lost to a footballer. You know what I mean?
I mean, like, do you feel like that was the case where do you feel like the referee was told, hey, man, just give Paul Gallen some leniency?
Because he is the cash cow. I'm the guy getting paid 140 grand. He was the guy getting paid 1.2 million, and obviously brought in all the other views, all the rest of it. So they're not going to disqualify him. No way in fucking hell, because they want more fights out of him.
100%. What do you think would have happened if you KO'd him?
I think I was in line to fight Justice Hooney, who was his next opponent anyway.
Yeah, right.
Now, the bullshit about all that is, again, here I am, former world heavyweight fucking champ, and I got 140 grand. Now, Justice Hooney, who fought next, got 350.
Whoa.
And Paul Gallen got 1.3 mil.
Fuck.
Why did I get paid less? You know what I mean?
Hey, have you asked that question to the promoters? Was it different? It was the same promoter?
140 grand in Australia is still 10 times more than what I was getting paid.
Yeah.
So for me, it made sense. It was a good payday for Australia. So I think it was that COVID or almost COVID or something? I don't know. But either way, it made sense. 140 grand in Australia against Paul Gallen, made sense.
Mm.
And the next one would have been bigger, etc. So yeah, that was never on the plan to get a bust eardrum. I've never had one, and that was my first time. So I was freaking out, going, "What the fuck's going on?" And unfortunately, they call it, like rightly so, they call the fight. I look like shit.
Yeah.
But the worst part is that everyone's sitting there saying to me that I fucking threw the fight. Now, I've been through proper, I don't know what the name is, and I probably can't say the name, but I've been through a thing where they've questioned me about that properly, like legally properly.
Yeah, right.
Had my bank account details, they had everything to make sure. I'm like, well, fuck, I've got nothing to hide. I've done nothing wrong. So I told them everything that happened, obviously, because there's nothing to hide. But I believe out of all that, a lot of shit was discovered and a lot of shit will eventually come out. One of them being that the ref was told not to fucking call it. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But
So
until it comes out, it's all speculation. So, yeah.
100%. I mean, were you ever told, like, going into that fight, like, hey, man, like, yeah, did they want you to try and go and take it? Like, has anyone tried to say to you, hey, man, can you take a dive in this round or that round?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, fucking oath. And that's what I told these people. I said, yeah, I was asked. Yeah. They said, you've got 2 options. You go for it or not. And I said, well, I'm not going for that. They said, all right, let's go this way. I'm a sweet. So it wasn't like it was pushed on me. It was asked and as an option. And I said, no, I'm fucking fighting. They said, all right, sweet. Never spoken of again. You know, and so I at least respected that. That was nice.
Yeah.
But nothing was ever pushed on me, no. But I was asked if I to throw it. Yeah, fucking no.
Yeah, right. Like, was that the first time anyone's asked you to throw a fight?
It was 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Were you blown away at that sort of like that request?
Well, I was explained as to the odds and all that sort of stuff. So I understood why, because it was something stupid like 50 to 1. So a lot of people would have made a lot of money off me, you know what I mean? Now, the worst part about it all is that all happened in round 1. So it did look like I threw the fight because that's what the odds were for round 1.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
So people said, "Oh, like it looked a bit like it looked a bit fugazi at the end of the fight." All right, okay, yeah,
So,
shit.
I understand why people think that, but fuck, man, I didn't get paid for it. So give me some money.
Fucking hell, bro! That's wild, bro. Like it surprised, like around that sort of time that would still be happening in boxing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's what they're looking into at the moment. Specifically, corruption in boxing. Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the thing I heard. Like they're sending out some certain things to promoters that they're not to give like tickets as gifts anymore, or like dinner to judges and stuff like that, because it's like, well, if they're too busy eating a spring roll or like having a mouthful of chicken and rice or whatever and not looking at a fight, how can they judge a fight properly? And
that's right. There's so much involved in boxing, and obviously the promoters know exactly what's happening, what's doing. It's their show, but they've been doing it for so long, and there's only so many promoters that they all know what's going on and who's who as well. Yeah.
I mean, it's the crazy world of of sport and everything like that, where there's like it attracts so many different types of people into it. But mate, with that being said, that is the time. We are getting close to that. Oh, just over 1 hour and 15-minute mark. Want to be respectful of your time, but where can everyone find you on social media and go and give you a follow and support you?
Well, I have 2 pages. I've got my normal page, Lucas Browne, Browne with an E, so Lucas Big Daddy Browne. But I have a boxing page for my gym. It's big.daddy.boxing. So that's where you find all my workouts, all that sort of stuff. By all means, as well, if you're ever in the area over in Perth, come in and say hello, take a photo, have a workout, whatever it may be. But Lucas Browne and Big Daddy Boxing. So they're my 2 places.
Oh, too easy, man. Definitely, guys, go and make sure you check out Lucas Big Daddy Browne and his boxing gym. Maybe go and have a workout there and well, have the former heavyweight champion of the world put you through your paces. But also make sure you go and check out our sponsor, Sleeves.com. Use that promo code MWAPod to get a 10% discount. But this has been an absolute amazing conversation. Thank you so much for coming on, man. We got to do this again, bro. I feel like we're just sort of scratching the surface. I feel like we can talk another hour or 2 easy, bro, to be honest with you.
Easily, right? Yeah. Right. I got no problem with that at all.
Man, thank you so much for coming on, man. But guys, until next time, take care. All the best. Peace.